I come from Bisleri. I'm sure all of you are familiar with our brand and the endearing advertising that we do. Today, I'm going to talk about the other part of the Bisleri story, which is about how are we performing as an environmentally responsible brand. We have two challenges, and both are integral to our product: water and the packaging. And before I proceed further, let me reassure you that we were one of the first FMCG companies that were plastic neutral in this country. And not only that, we are also a water positive company, that we recycle more plastic than we put into the market, and we replenish more water than what we take out from the ground. And this is since the last 4 years. As we speak today, we are at about 110% of our plastic recycling, and the water number is also increasing. I'll share more of that later. There must be a consumer reason why you find water bottles all over the country, right? I mean, the government statistics indicate that only 47% of the urban households have a tap coming to their house and bringing pure water. And more than half the districts in this country have contaminated groundwater. So there is a reason for water to be available in a packaged form and also affordable. We are neutral to packaging. I'm not a proponent of plastic. We are just concerned that the product in which we pack should be safe, should be affordable, should be scalable because we manufacture in large quantities. And finally, it has to be environmentally sustainable when you take the entire value chain. Let me touch upon plastic for a little while. All of us differentiate metals, right? Lead, gold, we know the difference. But plastic is a relatively new material, and I don't think we have started understanding the different types of plastic that is there. Some are evidently more recyclable than other types. Not only that, among the more recyclable, PET definitely is possibly some of the best plastic that's available. There's a big concern whether water packed in plastic bottles are safe for consumption. Let me reassure you, there have been a 2-year study done by CFTRI Mysore between 17 and 19, and another study by NSCL Pune, which has been done again, and you can see those results out there. There are no heavy metals, phthalates, or leaching of monomers that happen. And the endocrine disturbances of plastic leaching is below detection limits. So you can continue to safely drink water out of plastic bottles. It's no wonder that it's the most accepted form of packaging the world over, accepted by all the regulatory bodies. So the safety parameter is established, and obviously this is affordable. But what about the sustainability part? There are misconceptions that at a point of time, a particular material is more recyclable. But I think the true test is the entire value chain, right from raw material to end of cycle. And when you look at that, you will understand that even the glass bottle sitting on your table is possibly 2x more carbon footprint than plastic, and 5x more carbon footprint, and aluminum is about 2x more. So there is no free lunch really. There's a trade-off which you need to do. Now, having said that, is it all bells and whistles for plastic? Not at all. Our land, oceans are full of plastic waste. Is plastic to blame or the consumers? We know that 80% of the littering happens consciously. So unless this behavior changes, things are not going to change on the ground. And can the plastic post-use be repurposed? Definitely yes, you can see that over there. The uniforms at Bisleri are made out of recycled PET bottles. It can be repurposed to higher value products, as you can see. And some of the top fashion designers are taken that on board. And who else than the Honorable Prime Minister of the country proposing to wear that jacket which is made out of PET? And what have we done in terms, since we are forced to use plastic as a most affordable medium, we said plastic as a material is not bad, but the consumer behavior is a way we can influence. So we kicked off a program called Bottles for Change, which is fundamentally about going to consumers, educating them that used plastic is valuable. Please don't discard it mindlessly. Segregate it, and we will create an ecosystem which will pick it up from your doorstep and take it to the recycler directly and not allow it to end up in the landfill. And that's an entire cycle which you can find. We have an application called Bottles for Change. You can download it, indicate to us. We are active today in over 24 municipalities in this country. And you can see the number of educational institutions, some of the top ones in the country, some of the top corporates, some of the top hotels and restaurants where we are present. We collaborate with them, pick up their used plastic, send it for recycling directly. We also work with educational institutions like this to ensure that zero plastic to landfill is the motto for that institution. It is not zero plastic in the campus, but zero plastic waste to landfill. And we have been able to collaborate with municipalities. That's the Tiruvallur municipality in Chennai, who has built that unit, a material recovery facility, and handed it over to us to run it. And we offer the technical advice and ensure that the material is sorted, baled, and sent to recycling. We also believe that when you inspire a community, impactful change can happen. We have just set the new Guinness World Record for collecting the maximum number of plastic bottles in 12 hours, done in Coimbatore, I think in February this year. And to signal to people that used plastic is valuable, it can be converted into very useful items. We have created these plastic benches. They are made out of the Bisleri bottle caps. And what we have done to beautify at the backrest you can see are paintings by artists who don't have hands, who paint with their mouth and their feet. And we thought it's essential. It's a great platform to promote their creativity as well. Not only that, we thought we have, as one of the large plastic users in the country, we should also develop the database and talk about circularity and provide that information database. We worked with Observer Research Foundation and released this book in the Raisina Dialogues this year. Now the next one is possibly very interesting. When we got into this Bottles for Change, we understood that unless you catch kids when they are young, they will continue to grow up with the same mindset that we have, after consuming something, throw it out of the window. So we created this wonderful booklet with Center for Environment Education, Mr. Karthikeya Sarabhai and team, well illustrated to educate kids about what is plastic, how to use it, and how can you ensure it is recycled. We're also going to create this in about 9 languages and small video edits of about 20 minutes, followed by a 10-minute activity so the teachers can actually use it during the sustainability education in the 10th standard in the schools. And this is something we have done in Coorg in Karnataka as a beginning.
Today we have collected 20 bags of plastics and we are sending it for recycling.
Hi, myself Chandan. So right now I am standing in the heart of the Coorg. 33% of the land here is covered with the forest. That means we have 135,000 hectares of forest land in Coorg.
We are here for one single reason, to remove plastic from this forest area.
Bisleri and the Bottle for Change have taken the responsibility to work with the local volunteers.
Many stakeholders from Gram Panchayat, from schools, from colleges, as well as from the forest department, we are collecting plastic waste from the forest.
And we have plans to take this the forest conservation and the cleanup program to the larger level, to the district level, because this is our homeland. So we are all participating to clean up the Coorg and make it free from plastics.
Our responsibility is not to pollute this serene environment in Coorg. Let us be a responsible citizen.
Our forest, our responsibility.
ನಮ್ಮ ಅರಣ್ಯ ನಮ್ಮ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ.
As we speak, we have just kicked off a program in Ooty last week. In fact, I was there to make Uttakamand the first hill station which is plastic waste free. It's a very large area. We have just kicked off that program with the district collector and his team and the police. So it's a long process. We have taken a 2-year journey in our mind to ensure that Ooty can become possibly a showcase hill station where no plastic waste is discarded on the roads. Now to the other section of our environment challenge, which is about water. We have set some of the best benchmarks in the industry in terms of water processing. We convert about 92% of the water that we extract into finished goods. The comparison to a domestic RO is 60%, just to put it in context. And we have been improving on this. Just this year, in the last 6 months, till September, we have improved our water efficiency to an extent of 30 million cartons of Bisleri 1 liter. If you can understand, that's the kind of impact when we get into this. We ensure that the surface runoff water is captured in ponds. That's one of our factories. And also in the watershed area, near the factory. These are in Ghaziabad belt, which is in the same watershed of our Saibabad plant. And in the last 8 years, we have done about 272 check dams to benefit rural farmers, capture the surface water and give them 3 crops in a year, improve their livelihood. And this is something interesting we have done in the last 2 years, restore large lakes. One of them in a college in Chennai, and 2 of them, the first one over there in Ladakh, and again, the second one again in Ladakh. Now, having said that, we have a problem in India in terms of water. We have the largest population in the world, but only 4% of the groundwater. And you can see that most of the country seems to be in the red in terms of groundwater availability. If we continue to extract groundwater at the current rate, I think the data indicates that 80% of the drinking water sources will be in serious trouble. And 20 years is not too far away. So it's time that we did something. And the Honorable Prime Minister has kicked off this entire initiative of Lifestyle for Environment, Mission LIFE, where it is proposed that environmental friendly actions on any of these 7 categories will be rewarded. And that reward can then be traded on a platform like carbon credits. We thought it's a wonderful idea which we should take forward. So why don't we as a large water company try and work on this to create a framework for water credits? Now water has a problem. Unlike carbon, you burn stubble in Punjab, it hits people living in Delhi. But yesterday floods were happening in Chennai. I don't think any of us felt anything about it, right? So water has a localized context, which is limited to a watershed. So we need to be cognizant of that. Saving water in a monsoon-rich Kerala versus saving water in a Rajasthan needs to have an equivalence of effort which we need to kind of balance. And if we are polluting, setting up an industry which is going to pollute, there has to be a negative factor which you need to factor. So we said, let us try and create a framework, and we wanted expertise, so we associated with Terry, Dr. Arun Kansal and team to define this entire piece. It was a one-year study which actually commenced in 22, ended in 23, and we published the report in May 24. We went through every available documentation on water trading the world over, the laws that are governing water transactions. And we said, considering what I just spoke earlier, it has to be an impact adjusted, Kerala versus a Rajasthan piece. And we said we should actually not just talk theory, but test it out in two of our own factories, one in a water-rich area and another is a water-scarce area. And finally, at the end of it, we have to be giving something to the industry which is usable by everybody. Those are the two factories where we took, one in Saibabad. The only water body is the Ghazipur Nala, which is transporting all the wastewater of Delhi into outside. And we have one in Lonavla, which is got lakes and rivers nearby. Now, one debate, shouldn't we be accountable only what happens within our own fence? We said no. We have chosen to pick up plastic, let us say, from Jammu because it's cost effective, but then the transportation incurred water footprint you need to account for. So we said we have to take everything from raw material to finally reaching the bottle of Bisleri to the consumer and build it into the water footprint of the business. So you can see that it's addressing every area in terms of the operational part, the overhead including the canteen and the toilets of the factory, and the supply chain. A very rigorous working, don't get confused by the number of formulas out there. Obviously, academics have done this. This illustrates a point. Almost, we have about 121,000 consumed in production. But through water harvesting, we have been able to recover 107,000. Almost 84% you were able to replenish into the water, into the ground. But when you take the supply chain related and the negative factor of putting a plant in Delhi, which is water scarce, you can see the scarcity factor of 41,000, then it is a significant number in terms of a water footprint. And if I were to remove the glass bottles which you see on your tables from Sahibabad, my water footprint comes down by 17%. Now you understand the trade-off of what I was talking earlier. And the other thing which hit us was that energy was going to be significant, where if I change the energy consumption from grid to renewable energy, it comes down by 6%. Bottom line is this: to make a liter of Bisleri, normally in the plant it takes me 1.08 liters. But if I were to take the real water footprint, in Delhi it takes me about 14 liters, and in Lonavla it takes me about 10 liters. So this has been a wake-up call for us, and we have now started rejigging our entire supply chain, our energy consumption. We had about 4% energy coming in from renewable source. By December, we will move to 30%. And where we source plastic from, what are the hubs and spokes in our supply chain, it's all getting governed here. And the last number is very interesting. If I were to make a soft drink and sell, it will take 56 liters of water to produce 1 liter of soft drink. I think we need to take cognizance of this. That's a template which we have created. Any industry can adopt it. As we are dedicating this study, which is here, it's published on our website and the Terry website. As a marketing company, we have ensured that it is well illustrated, readable, so it's interesting for people to go through. There are a couple of points which are very important out here. I mean, today you have an electricity reading, right? You got this 5-star in terms of electric consumption efficiency. I think it's time we start talking about a water efficiency number on those lines. If that is on my product, on my label, that I am more water efficient as a product among the category, then I'm sure consumers will see me in a different light. Similarly, I think it's also a collective call for industries to get together in a watershed area and collectively do things which are going to replenish water onto the ground. And obviously, 85% of the groundwater today is being consumed for agriculture. We need to move into water efficient crops and water prudent irrigation methods. Before I end, I thought this entire presentation is captured in a short video.
चलो घर से मिले।
तू एक बूंद दिल जिंदगी है तू, खुश सी मुस्कान है हर जगह है तू डगमग पंख है ऊंची उड़ान है तू, सारा जहां है तू। जा मंजिल के परे ओ पागल बुलबुले, चल बचपन के तले वही तेरा घर मिले।
इस घर को हम प्यार से रखते हैं। बिस्लरी ग्रीनर प्रॉमिस।
Thank you so much for this great opportunity to share this with you. Thank you.